Welcome, fashion enthusiasts and history lovers, to the first episode of my brand new mini-series, Fashion Eras, where we explore the most iconic and transformative styles of history. I'm thrilled to take you on a journey through time to see how fashion shaped not just our bodies, but our very identities. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of ancient Egypt and discovering the symbolism behind their iconic attire. From sheer Kalasiris that draped elegantly over the body to broad collars crafted from precious stones and shimmering gold diadems, Egypt's fashion was about much more than looking good. It was a visual language of status, divinity, and legacy. So, how did the ancient Egyptians dress? Let's start by talking about the fabric that truly defined Egyptian fashion: linen. You may think of linen as something simple, but to the Egyptians, it was the ultimate symbol of purity and prosperity. Linen was harvested from the flax plant, which flourished in Egypt's fertile soil, thanks to the yearly flooding of the Nile River. The ancient Egyptians were masters of linen weaving, producing ultra-fine, diaphanous textiles that clung to the body in graceful folds. The Kalasiris, a long, tube-shaped sheath dress, was the quintessential garment worn by both men and women, though its cut and transparency varied by class and occasion. For the elite, the Kalasiris was often made of the sheerest linen, sometimes layered or pleated for dramatic effect, while the lower classes wore coarser, thicker weaves. Wealthy women accentuated their silhouettes by wearing the Kalasiris with beaded net overlays, creating a stunning interplay of transparency and texture. Meanwhile, men of high rank donned Shendyt kilts, a wrapped and pleated skirt, often secured with elaborate sashes or ornamental girdles. But linen wasn't just a fabric, it was a statement. The Egyptians associated white linen with purity and a connection to the gods. Their deities were often depicted wearing pristine, flowing garments, making linen the fabric of choice for those who wanted to express their divine favor. In fact, high-ranking priests and pharaohs exclusively wore white linen during temple ceremonies, reinforcing its sacred nature. While linen formed the foundation of Egyptian clothing, it was the embellishments, especially gold jewelry, that truly signified status and divine protection. Gold wasn't just a luxury, it was considered the skin of the gods, an indestructible material that symbolized eternal life. The wealthiest Egyptians adorned themselves with pectoral necklaces, heavy gold broad collars, known as wesekhs, and armlets, all encrusted with carnelian, lapis lazuli, turquoise, and faience beads. The Wesekh, with its crescent shape and intricate beadwork, rested dramatically over the shoulders and was worn by both men and women of high status. Earrings, anklets, and signet rings were also common among the elite, each piece inscribed with protective hieroglyphs or cartouches bearing the wearer's name. And let's not forget the gold cuff bracelets worn by royalty, often featuring motifs of falcons, cobras, or the sacred scarab beetle. These pieces weren't just for decoration, they were amulets, believed to provide divine protection and ward off evil. Gold was also heavily associated with the afterlife, which is why pharaohs were entombed with elaborate golden burial masks, such as the famous death mask of Tutankhamun. In life and in death, gold was a symbol of immortality, power, and divine rule. No conversation about ancient Egyptian fashion would be complete without discussing headdresses and crowns. These weren't mere accessories, they were emblems of authority, linking rulers to the gods. For pharaohs, the most iconic headpiece was the shent, the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing the unification of the kingdom. The red deshret represented Lower Egypt, while the white hedjet symbolized Upper Egypt, and together they created a powerful visual of total sovereignty. Other significant headdresses included the nemes, a striped linen headcloth often adorned with the uraeus, a rearing cobra symbolizing divine kingship and protection. This was the signature look of pharaohs, famously worn by Tutankhamun and Ramses II. Elite women, including queens and priestesses, often wore gold diadems decorated with lotus flowers, falcons, or cobras. One of the most stunning examples is the vulture headdress, worn by goddesses and powerful royal women like Queen Amos Nefertari. The vulture, representing the goddess Nekhbet, was believed to offer divine protection. Beyond royalty, noble women wore cone-shaped wax-perfumed caps atop their elaborate wigs, slowly melting throughout the day to release fragrant oils, a ritual of both luxury and personal grooming. While pharaohs and nobles were adorned with lavish gold and finely woven linens, the average Egyptian wore simpler garments suited for daily life. Common men typically wore Shendyt kilts or simple loincloths, while women wore plain Kalasiris with minimal embellishments. Children often went unclothed until adolescence, reflecting Egypt's warm climate and practical approach to fashion. However, even the most modest garments were sometimes decorated with simple beadwork, dyed patterns, or embroidered borders. Despite these differences in wealth and social standing, Egyptian fashion remained deeply symbolic across all classes. Whether through a simple linen tunic or a gold-encrusted diadem, every article of clothing or accessory had a meaning, a purpose, and a story to tell. Believe it or not, elements of Egyptian fashion have survived through the ages. From the clean, architectural lines of modern column dresses to the timeless elegance of gold statement jewelry, Egyptian style continues to captivate designers today. The dramatic broad collar necklaces, beaded embellishments, and draped silhouettes that originated in ancient Egypt frequently appear on haute couture runways, proving that this ancient civilization's sense of style was truly ahead of its time. Fashion, it seems, is timeless. What the ancient Egyptians wore was about so much more than clothing. It was about conveying power, status, and spirituality. And that's why, even thousands of years later, we still find ourselves inspired by the elegance, symbolism, and strength of Egyptian fashion. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of Fashion Eras. Be sure to tune in next week when we'll be exploring the fashion of the Roman Empire, where we'll uncover the drama behind those iconic togas and tunics, and how fashion reflected politics, class, and identity in ancient Rome. Until then, check out my previous video on the evolution of fashion, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this series. I'll see you next time.